Hello, this is Sensor Gambino here with a new stream. In this stream, we're going to be going over the event week for this week in Grand Theft Auto Online. And the podium vehicle, by the way, over there is the Vapid Retinue. I'll be getting to it in a moment. Funnily enough, actually, like a day ago or something, I actually got the Mark II Retinue, so that's pretty interesting because I've been working like crazy on my garage properties trying to get every vehicle slot filled up for when Expanded Hands comes out. Okay, my character did a weak spin for some reason. Weird. I don't feel I did it weak. I don't want the right. Okay, good, I don't want it. Ooh, got 2,500 RP because my character did a weak sauce spin for some reason. But anyways, I know the Mark II's on Severn San Andreas, so I would assume, of course, the regular one's on Severn San Andreas as well. But yeah, the Mark II one that's down Casino Heights, I think this one's from Smuggler's Run. It is, right? I think so. That's 2016. Oh, okay. It's just this 1 year. I'll see what's the aircraft being updated, and there was only the one on here, so it's a bit difficult to find, but yeah. The regular Vapid Retinue is a $615,000 vehicle. And if it comes with a livery and you keep said livery, you should probably get like 20 to 30,000, as well in terms of value. So at most, like around 650,000. Obviously, the value is not really going to be that great on this one, I would say. It is a sport classic vehicle, and a lot of those don't really necessarily tend to be all that expensive in the game. But yeah. For lap time, it is a 12th place and then a 16th place top speed, going off a roughly 152 spreadsheet. Yeah, apparently it's 12th place lap time, 16th place top speed. Being beneath the top 10 for both lap time and top speed, in my opinion, makes it not that worth it. But yeah, time trial for the week here is Storm Drain. And again, typical recommendations I would say would be the Body 801 and the Reaver. But yeah, $15,000 motorcycle from day one in the game, the Body 801, that's like 3rd or 4th place, lap time. That's still a 3rd place lap time, I think, and then top speed is 4th place, I'm pretty sure, on the Body 801, which is pretty good. It's got a very good average. And then the new Western Reaver that was released in the contract DLC is the #1 top speed. And I actually did this time trial, so I know you can do it with the Reaver, no doubt. Especially with that insane top speed, and there's not a lot of turns, and nor is there actually traffic to deal with in this one either. Because it's in the Storm Drain, so you don't even have any traffic on this one. So definitely would say the Reaver on that one. Okay, it's been maxed out for a while, but okay, tell me. And the RC Bandito time trial for the week is Little Soul Park. And yeah, for guides on time trials and stuff, I'd probably recommend the GTA Men channel, and I believe it has around a couple 100,000 subscribers. So that's a channel I'd probably recommend. And I believe this commentary, RC Bandito and regular time trial guides. Though honestly, honestly, it's probably better to like learn them yourself and stuff, because they're designed to be failed multiple times and then learn through them like every subsequent time and whatnot. But yeah, the vehicle this time I'm choosing to show around for my collection this time was the Saber Turbo Custom. Wonder if I could do yellow, like blue livery and whatnot, and I think I went like chrome or something with the secondary for some reason. I don't know. I have a basis for it, I think, but I can't exactly think of it on top of my head in a sense. Or a couple of different like design choices. Probably not a very good vehicle, I would say, these days, though. I would imagine. I didn't look at the spreadsheet for the performance, but I don't necessarily see it being a very good vehicle. Just one I'm wanting to show off this time. Like I've been doing recently, since the contractor feed's been over the last couple weeks. Alright, Arcade X 65,000 and then my agency at 96,000. But yeah, as per usual, I will go over the like test track vehicles and whatnot. And yeah, I believe every single test track vehicle this time around is on a discount, so that's nice. Because they don't do that every single time. But yeah, gotta get to like the spreadsheet for these different vehicles. This one's sedan here, I believe. Alright, yeah. Start left to right, why not? But yeah, the Lampadati 5 here. Going off of roughly 1322 spreadsheet, number 1 for lap time in the sedan class, and then number 2 for top speed for the sedan class. Very recent vehicle of the contract DLC. So it's very recent, so that's something cool with it. And yeah, it's 4-seater and whatnot. There's probably a lot of 4-seater sedans. Probably not anything super impressive in there. But you get a very good performance for the sedan class if you do any like sedan races or anything, so it definitely could be worthwhile. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is on a discount price. So I probably won't really talk about it because it's on discount and I'm already talking about on the test track here. And yeah, the Grotti Vision, I think this was a supercar from the Smuggler's Run DLC, so it's been quite a few years since its release. And quite frankly, I don't remember this one being quite a good one, but I'll be going to the spreadsheet right now. Alright, have its lap time, and gotta find its top speed. But yeah, Grotti Vision here, going off a roughly 132 spreadsheet, has a 16th place last lap time. And 19th place top speed. But it's above average. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, like I said, number 1 lap time, Lamborghini 5,000 for sedan class. Number 2 top speed for the sedan class. Very recent vehicle contract DLC, so it's a very hot new addition as of the last DLC. And yeah, being number 1, number 2, obviously getting good performance. And yeah, 16th place and 19th place for the supercar class. Obviously being outside the top 10 lap time top speed supercar class, I do not really see this being a good purchase these days. Yeah, I don't really necessarily think I can think of anything all that unique with the Vision here either. Again, purchase the vehicle, it's like around 1.6 right now, and I believe it's on some sort of discount with the event week. So won't really need to talk about that one either. And then the Weevil here, this one's from the Cayo Perico Heist DLC. And yeah, this one's kind of interesting. I'll kind of explain something with it. I believe it's probably a compact or something, I want to say. So I gotta get to it here real quick. Alright, yeah. The Weevil is a compact, which again, like with the sedan class, those probably aren't very common classes to do races with, so the performance probably doesn't matter much for them anyways. But obviously from a performance standpoint, so that's probably what most people want a vehicle for. For lap time here, the Weevil is a 6th place, and then for top speed, the Weevil is in 8th place. So it's within the top 10 for the compacts class for both lap time and top speed, but obviously it's not top 5, top 3, or the number 1 option. So hard to really recommend it for its performance. And also, I believe if you do something like DJ, like request missions or something for like English Dave or like Tom Connor's one of the 2 characters, I believe if you do the DJ request, I think it's English Dave's DJ request, if you do like all of those, I believe you actually get one for free. So because you can get one for free for doing English Dave's DJ like request missions for like high music or whatever, I believe it's not really all that worth necessarily buying it. Because I'm pretty certain, if I remember, there's a way to get it for free for those DJ request missions, as I mentioned. Could be wrong on that, but I'm very certain I remember that being the case. So this vehicle is honestly never really worth buying if you just go for the free one by doing those kind of music DJ requests from English Dave or whatever. So definitely the best one I would say this time around would be the 5,000 for the test track vehicles here, which they are apparently all on discount from what I saw. So don't really need to talk about those, which is nice. I wish it would do all the like test track vehicles on discount all the time. That would kind of be a nice like incentive to actually like test drive them and stuff. Because I feel it's only like the 2nd time they've actually done that for all free vehicles on the test track. Really like what they're doing with the test track and the prize ride. I like what they're doing with the tuner stuff here lately, no doubt. But yeah, prize ride this time around is the Bache Rapid GT Classic. Again, it's finally another vehicle that is not a tuner on the prize ride, which is pretty cool. I think the last couple of times they've been doing like unique vehicles on the like prize ride without it being like a festive like holiday, because before they were only doing it for like festive holidays. I think they did the Arden one time for like festive surprise or whatever. I think they did like the Arden ones, and then I think they did like the Roosevelt Valor for like Valentine's. And the 2 event weeks after the like Valor, now they're starting to do more of these like regular vehicles on the prize ride. On the prize ride, which I really like. But yeah, the challenge for the Rapid GT Classic here is a place top 3 in 5 races for the Street Race Series. So if you really want to go for this, you can do this one very easily. Top 3 with a street race, you only need a minimum of 2 players, so you can have the minimum of 2 players or 3 players, and you're practically guaranteed to get a single thing checked off for the challenge, obviously. And there's no day in a row thing, so you can easily do it in one day. And you're practically guaranteed to be able to do it, depending on the player count. And it's very easy to find them. And a little sneak peek at one of the money opportunities. But yeah, street races, you can find them with street race, followed by hyphen, and then followed by the unique name of said street race. And yeah, should have said like 2 to 8 or something, yeah. 2 to 8 players, so obviously, like I said, not minimum 2, and then like giving you 3, and you're basically guaranteed. So, very easy vehicle to get if you're willing to go the effort. Gotta see what the, like, classing is. I'm assuming it's a sport classic vehicle or something. Alright, yeah. The Rapid GT is a sport classic, and it's actually looking kinda good, actually. And the challenge is pretty easy. But yeah, for a lap time in the Sport Classic class, it is a 3rd place, going off of roughly 1322 spreadsheet, and then also Rapid GT Classic is the 9th place top speed. So you are getting a top 3 like Sport Classic vehicle here with the lap time, and then you're also getting within the top 10 in top speed. That's pretty good. And that challenge is nothing to like leap over or anything. It's pretty easy. You can literally do it if you're willing to put the effort in it. So this vehicle can definitely serve an alright purpose, I would say, for anyone who might want to go for it. And the customizations, I imagine, are pretty good. But it can actually be kind of competitive, so definitely worth it. I mean, personally, I probably still won't go for it just because I probably don't really care to have it necessarily. Because I'm already working on like a ton of like property storage things and whatnot, like I mentioned earlier. I've been working on a lot of like arcade vehicles recently. And I got like a couple more like apartments, and then I'm mainly actually done. Actually, I'm hoping to get done by like March 1st or something, but not sure if that's going to happen. But I should hopefully be able to get all done before Expand Enhanced, for the most part anyways. And yeah. Now to talk like money opportunities, like login rewards, stuff like that. So I'll see if there's any login reward things worth talking about first. Okay. But yeah. This one goes into security contracts, which I'll talk more about the money opportunity later. But yeah. Completing any single security contract will land you the Bravado T. So if you do a security contract, you will get the Bravado T. So I know for a fact that one is not a new login reward. They have given it out in the past, probably like an easier method in the past. But for some reason you don't have the Bravado T and you want it, then just simply do a security contract if you want a more exclusive piece of clothing. But again, it's been a thing for at least a couple years now, so it's obviously not a new like login reward or like clothing unlock or anything. Yeah, I think that does it for like clothing things, so it's mainly just money opportunities and then discounts at this point. I'll talk about the ones on the pause menu first, and then I'll talk about the ones that are kind of a bit harder to explain in a way. And some strategies and whatnot, perhaps. Alright. Alright, there's two on the pause menu, and then the rest are like going to be mentioned through other methods. But yeah, starting off in the race section, of course, when showing the like street races, how to find them and whatnot, it probably noticed some triple money RP icons or something, but yeah. That is because air races right now are actually triple money in RP. And yeah, basically they're like traditional races, but with aircrafts, obviously. Payouts, I think, with like all the different races in the game are basically the same for the most part for pretty much every race, aside for honestly like a premium race or something like that. But yeah, the typical race payout, I believe, is like $8,000 or something like that. Like, if you're solo and whatnot for like 8 to 10 minutes or something like that. If you're willing to wait all that time for some reason. But yeah, I think the normal payout for like double money RP, for example, like if you do a race for 8 to 10 minutes all by yourself or something, is like 16,000. But on triple, you can get like 24, I think 25,000 if you're racing all by yourself, 8 to 10 minutes. Which isn't really recommended. You should probably go for races like as fast as possible. And obviously, maybe you could get some pretty serious coin if you do these like races with a lot of other players and whatnot. Because I think things like player count and like how long the like race lasts and stuff are obviously like the main like things that determine the payout. But yeah, obviously then you gotta be like competitive and like stuff like that. And even if you use like the best vehicle, you're not really guaranteed to win, obviously. So yeah, 24 like 25,000, 8 to 10 minutes, not really necessarily all that worth it. Obviously the races, you shouldn't really expect much good payout from those. And then Trapdoor 137 is a 2 times money RP. And this one seems to be like a kind of deathmatch on like stun tracks, and then there's definitely some sort of like trapdoor gimmick thing, which is definitely pretty fun and whatnot. I definitely feel it's a pretty fun mode if I remember right from playing it way back in the day. And yeah. Also, with trapdoor, it's also a limited time adversary mode. This might be the last week to be able to play it before it gets vaulted again, so that's a nice extra incentive with the money RP times. And yeah, traditionally though, I think adversary modes don't typically go over like a couple 100,000 for like a whole entire like game with as much like matches as possible, and then winning every single one and whatnot. Though I don't know, I feel trapdoor to be one of the faster like going modes in the game when it comes to these like different adversary modes, because I feel like trapdoor mechanic would be quite an annoying gimmick in a way. Said rounds probably won't last all that long, I would imagine, on this one compared to some other like more vehicular based modes. And yeah, I'll be talking about some other money opportunity stuff as well. And yeah, sorry if I'm being weirdly quiet and stuff at some points, but some assholes in my fucking way when I'm like streaming a lot right now and whatnot. To say the least. But yeah. Neither of the pause menu money opportunities are really that good. Like I said, with the air races and stuff, you get 10 minutes by yourself for like 25,000. It's like the probably best kind of way in a sense to go for money, not really good at all. But then again, it's races, obviously you shouldn't really expect that to be the case. And yeah, maybe you can make like 100,000 close to that or something in like a really populated air race if you were to like win or something like that, but the effort's not really all that worth it. And yeah, trapdoor again. Like I was saying, the trapdoor gimmicks probably makes the mode go by pretty fast, because yeah, people are definitely falling like beneath the like stun platforms surely with the trapdoor. So that'll probably kind of make the mode go by a bit faster than other adversary modes in the game. So one, I think that's definitely going to be a quicker adversary mode, and then two, like I said, I think the most you can typically make an adversary mode, like with the maximum amount of rounds and like winning every single round, and like with the amount of players, is probably like a couple 100,000. I would assume so, on double at least. But yeah. That's all I can think of mentioning for those two. Those are definitely probably the ones that are least worth doing this time around. But yeah. I will talk about the security contracts, because those are actually on a double money in RP. I'll actually go over there to explain it kind of as well, because I think it's kind of worth doing that, because there's some pretty recent content in the game.
Anything I can do for you, boss?
But yeah. Anyways, here, the security contracts. I believe there's 6 different types of these security contracts. You only get like 3 at a time on the computer though, so only half of them really show up, but I'll try to remember the other ones. But yeah, vehicle recovery. You obviously, as it says, recover the client's stolen vehicle. And yeah, professional here is actually the least difficulty, and then there's a specialist and a specialist plus. That goes for all of the different security contracts, by the way. So when it comes to difficulty, you want to avoid the professional ones if there's any other one. But with the double money, the payout is like 82,500 on a vehicle recovery, which is nice. But yeah, in my opinion, the vehicle recovery is definitely one of the better ones that you can get. But yeah, the vehicle recovery, I think, is one of the only like 2 security contracts in the game where you can actually get the specialist plus like difficulty. Because as far as I know, there's only 2 that exist for the specialist plus difficulty being recovery, vehicle recovery, and then I think there's also what's it called? There's some other one where you like collect like a necklace or something. I think it's called Recover Valuables. I think that's the other one that has a special plus difficulty if you're trying to go for those highest difficulties. And yeah, specialist plus is kind of pretty rare in a sense, so obviously grab them if you can. And again, I think the specialist plus are only vehicle recovery or recover valuables. Because from my understanding, it's only the ones that you take something over to the agency that gets you, that has the chance of being a specialist plus. So those 2 are definitely the most worth doing. This and recover valuables, where you go to a location, kill people, and then get a valuable. Rescue operation. Rescue client and extract them to safety. Like, see, for example, this one's a specialist, for example, so this one's more like 90,000 on double right now. Whereas this one's like 8,000 because it's professional. But in my opinion, rescue operations definitely some of the better ones as well. Liquidize asset. That's one where you go and destroy equipment as requested by a client. And yeah, this one's professional, but it's only 68,500. And yeah, the money kind of mainly depends on like the contract it is in a way, as the vehicle recovery is probably one of the more like longer ones and whatnot, and still better payout on the professional difficulty, for example. But yeah, obviously aside for these 3, I mentioned the recover valuable already. And then I do actually know what the other 2 are. There's asset protection. Asset protection, I believe you protect things for like 10 minutes, so in my opinion, that one's actually the worst one of the 6 that you could get, the asset protection. Reason being is the thing lasts 10 minutes guaranteed, whereas like all these other ones you can do at your own pace, so they end whenever you finish the mission, whereas asset protection, you basically have to do it for 10 minutes guaranteed, which is pretty annoying. So I would absolutely avoid asset protection. That's the worst one. And then the other, like, second worst one is actually not on here as well, funnily enough, and that is actually gang termination. Now, gang termination, if it worked properly, like the other 4 I mentioned that were pretty good, would actually be good as well, I would say. But currently, I think there's a glitch in the game with gang termination where, like, the last person refuses to spawn or something like that. And therefore, the mission is in a, like, never-ending, like, endless loop, essentially. So only because game termination is glitchy at the moment with the release of the contract DLC, I would avoid game termination as well. And yeah, there's two ways of doing the security contracts. You can either call up Franklin, or you can obviously go on the computer here, which, yeah, go on the computer, you have to go into like the interior every single time, which is annoying. But at the same time, it's much more worth going here than it is calling Franklin, believe it or not. Because there's actually a huge weakness when it comes to calling Franklin. Like, yes, you can do the security contracts on the go, but Franklin will literally choose your security contract, whereas you actually get the free options on the computer if you go here. So obviously if you do it for Franklin, he chooses your contract, which is annoying because you can get asset protection, for example, which you might not want because it's the worst one. And again, like I mentioned, the best ones to do are the Specialist Plus because those give the most money and might be the most difficult, though in my opinion the difficulty doesn't really change that much with Specialist Plus. So definitely grab any sort of Specialist Plus when you see it. And again, I think the only ones that can have it is Vehicle Recovery. And again, Specialist Plus, Vehicle Recovery, and then also to Recover Valuables, which is not listed here, but is also a very good one. So basically, top two are definitely Vehicle Recovery, I would say, and then Recover Valuables, because that's Specialist Plus. And then another couple good ones are these Rescue Operation and Liquidize Assets. These are kind of like second tier, I would say, for that are worth doing. And obviously the worst ones, Gang Termination and then especially Asset Protection. So hopefully, I think that's everything I can kind of explain with the security contracts. There's also something to mention in terms of the safe here. Like, for example, I did 35 security contracts and I only get like 3,000 or like $4,000 like every 48 like minutes in game, or like 24 real life minutes, or like 48 real life minutes, or something like that. I think it's like 24 because I think like 2 seconds or something happens like per like real life second or something, or whatever, or something like that. Or actually, it's like half a second or whatever in real life per like in-game minute or something. But yeah, up to 200 security contracts actually boosts the like wall safe money that you get at one time, with a maximum of $20,000 every like in-game day, basically. So in 13 times of $20,000, for example, that would fill up the safe to its maximum capacity of 250,000. So if you want an interesting, like, long grind to go for and stuff, and you don't really have anything else that really seems all that worth doing in the game, definitely do some of these double money security contracts, double money RP security contracts to boost his wall safe money. Because obviously it's free money that you're getting, basically. And it doesn't go down either. Once you hit the 200, it's always going to be giving $20,000. Unless they change it through like a background update or something. And funny enough, speaking of background updates, I think when they first released this event week, the like payphone hits were actually only paying like 15,000 and then like 30,000. Not 30,000, but I think for 5,000 for like the bonus or something. So when the event week first came out, they did actually nerf the like payphone hit payouts. So I think they already corrected that, I believe. So I think it's back to 85,000 on a payphone hit. Nothing going on with it, I just thought that was something interesting to mention because Rockstar apparently messed something up with a background update. But yeah, definitely do them for that safe take. Like, yeah, 200's a lot, but the grind can definitely be quite worth it over time. Though personally, I just do Caprico still. In my opinion, it's not too worth it unless I'm like not really needing to do Cayo Perico, which I'm kind of close to that point, where I'm kind of almost have everything in the game that I want, per se, for the most part, aside for, like, cosmetic things. But yeah, I think I mentioned everything I could think of for the security contracts. Hopefully it was explained well enough. Alright, next I'll talk about the Smuggler Run stall missions that is on the title. But yeah, 3 times money RP Smuggler stall missions, and that is the business that is tied over to the hangar. And on regular money, I believe if you get, like, any, like, different types of, like, crates and stuff like that, as long as it's, like, narcotics, medical supplies, and there's some other one. But yeah, there's, like, whatever free goods are on, like, the top, like, left of the, like, computer and the, like, Smuggler Run, like, hangar, whatever, narcotics, medical supplies, and there's one other one. Those are the ones you want, because those normally give $10,000. There's like another 2 and another 3 that, like, per one you collect actually gives less money for some reason, so definitely just stick to narcotics, medical supplies, and then whatever the other good one is. Can't exactly remember what it is, but whatever 3 are on the top left, basically, on that computer. But yeah, normally if you get 50 of any of those types, you get 500,000, I believe, with no bonus. However, though, if you stay to, like, just narcotics or, like, just medical supplies or whatever the other really good one is, I think you can build up to, like, a 50% bonus if you stay to, like, one type of supplies. So that means that most normally, I think you can make, like, $750,000, not counting, like, a 1% bonus per player or whatever in, like, a public lobby, obviously. So on triple, if you get, like, on triple, if you get the couple, like, best ones, basically. But yeah, if you get the couple best ones, like the narcotics and medical supplies and whatever the other one is, again, if you do it like that on triple, I think it should be like 1.5 million. And then with the like, and then if you just do narcotics or medical supplies or whatever the other one is, if you do just one of those, all 50 for that, like, 50% bonus, I believe that's a thing. I think that's at most like $2.2 million that you can get for the hangar, which is actually worth it compared to what it normally is. So yeah, normally hangar is actually like the worst business in the game. It kind of still is, even with the triple in a way. Maybe they've done triple like one other time, or maybe a second other time or something, but it's not that often that they do, especially like triple money on hangar. Like I said, if you do it right, you can make like $2.3 million. Even though it's a hella grind if you want to get that much money, basically. And obviously, you probably got a lot of vehicles to, like, sell and whatnot. And of course, the typical people in a public lobby are probably going to destroy said vehicles or something. But if you're willing to take that risk, definitely worth it. Anyway, I'm trying to think of what else to mention. I think there's something else I mean to mention. Oh yeah, I think it has to do with the CO and, like, the MC, like, mechanic when it comes to, like, the Smuggler Run, like, cargo and whatnot. But yeah, the amount of cargo you can get in one mission actually depends on the amount of players you have in, like, a CO or, like, an MC. So obviously, if it's just your character, you're just going to get one crate. If you have at least 2 people in a CO MC, that's 2, and then 3, obviously, for free. and 4 for 4. And you may wonder, since the MC goes over to 4 of the CO at its maximum, up to 8, you would maybe think that you would get 8 at one time, but no, it actually maxes out at 4. Because I'm assuming they don't want like MCs to have like a way huger advantage in the COs. So that means at most, if you have like 3 other people that are willing to help you out with your hangars for some reason, which I highly doubt in this day with Calprico heist and everything, that means at most you can get 4 things of cargo during one mission, which means it would take like 12 to like 13 missions, I believe, to like fill up the hangar entirely. So that's kind of the fastest way that you can do it. Obviously, if you're doing it yourself, you're going to have to do 50 of them instead of like 12, 13, which is terrible. So it's not a very solo-friendly business, unfortunately. It has heavy encouragement of teamwork for the sourcing. So in my opinion, as a solo player, it's not worth it, even with like 2 and 3 kind of. You definitely mainly just want to be doing it if you have like 3 reliable friends who want to help you out and stuff, but then obviously you can end up helping them out and whatnot. I don't know, it's just not really a great mechanic in my opinion. My opinion, it should have been like the CO, like the original business in the game where you can choose to buy like 1, 2, 3, or 4. Actually, yeah, the hangar, you don't buy the supplies, they're entirely free. You just like have to do the missions and get them over there and whatnot. There's no like fee you have to pay to like get the supplies like located and whatnot. So that's the kind of nice thing with the hangars. There's no like upfront like cost thing. You just need to own the property basically. But yeah, like I mentioned, that annoying teamwork mechanic, not really that great, unfortunately. Kind of ruins the business even on any sort of money opportunity. And yeah, obviously if you're going for those full hangars, that's like 2 to like 3 vehicles, which obviously if you have friends, that's nothing, but if you don't, obviously it's gonna be really irritating and shit. But maybe still possible, because I mean, they're air vehicles, obviously, because it's an air-related business. So I used to like stable vehicles are kind of nice because they're aircraft. So they go around the map pretty easy, like basically no matter what, you're obviously pretty much never going to get a land vehicle in a settle mission. But I think I mentioned everything that's kind of worth knowing about the hangar business and how to go about it in the best, most like efficient way like possible. And yeah, for example, with like 3 players getting 3 at a time, I think that's like 16 to like 17 missions, which is never good, like coupled a few more than like 4 players, and then 2 players, you'll have to do 25 missions, especially if you're going for that one type for the like 50% like bonus at the end and whatnot. And obviously the 1 player, you have to do the 50 missions for it, which is annoying. So you can drastically cut that with 4 players. But yeah, don't really know who's going to be doing that, to be honest. But still, it's an interesting money opportunity, and I think it's definitely worth it if you're willing to put the effort in it. Obviously, if not, then obviously just do Caprico like every other week, basically, is the best way. Like, even with all that, obviously Caprico's kind of still going to be the better, like, value for your money over time and whatnot. And of course, that's on regular money for the Caprico. Obviously, nothing's going on with that. And yeah, I think there might just be one more I think there might just be one more money opportunity at all that I haven't talked about. And that is actually the flight school, believe it or not. But yeah. The San Andreas Flight School is on 2 times money in RP. And yeah, this is one of those money opportunities that was back in like the 7th generation version of the game. And pretty much everything that was in the like original like 7th generation version of the game doesn't really pay out that well in terms of today's standards. I don't exactly know like how much it pays out and stuff. Like I don't know if you can get like 3 times on like the gold medal rewards for like the first time completion and whatnot. I believe is a thing with the flight school. So that could maybe be kind of worth it if you've never done it before. But honestly, I don't really see it being all that worth it compared to the hangar and the like sell missions or the security contracts. So definitely the best money making for the event week stuff is either the Smart Run sell mission, especially if you have 3 of her friends that are willing to help you out and whatnot. Or of course, if you're mainly looking for solo money, then definitely go for those security contracts, build up more money for your agency safe per like 24 to 48 minutes. And yeah, I'll get back to car meet and I'll talk about the discounts. And again, I think for the discount. And yeah, sorry if I'm talking like shit and stuff, but yeah, my throat's dry as fuck right now, so. And yeah, like I said, free to discount should have already been covered when I went over to test track vehicles, because all 3 of those should be on discount, but obviously I'll have to look through the websites and stuff to verify. But yeah, obviously as per usual, I'll start off with property discounts and then I'll move towards the vehicles. But some of the discounts isn't like the wording of the newswire, whereas other ones they have like images and stuff, so I gotta make sure I find every single discount for like the wording and whatnot, because I know there's like some agency stuff, for example, I think, and some hangar stuff for property. Alright, I think I'll start with some like agency discounts going on right now. I'm Dynasty Executive here. But yeah, the agencies here. The agency itself is 25% off, and then the art style is 30% off apparently, and then nothing else really seems to be on discount. So yeah, 25% off for this one. You're saving like 500,000 for the Little Soul, which might be the cheapest one, I believe. This one, not necessarily saving that much more with this one. And this one you're saving more like 600,000, so you're getting some alright discounts here. And being new content, you obviously can really expect like a 40% off discount on it until probably like the next DLC or something, to be honest. So honestly, 25% considering how like recent the agency is, I'd say that's pretty alright. And yeah, the art is also 30% off, and then nothing else apparently looks to be on discount here. Just the property and then the first renovation look to be on discount. Because obviously these cosmetic wallpapers aren't on discount. And yeah. With the agency, I already mentioned something that's already super worth doing with the security contracts. Obviously, the payphone hits, those are pretty nice. If you can get the bonus, you can do like 3 per hour, which can be... yeah, I think it's 85,000 for the payphone hits, I believe. So, like, for example, you can make like around 300,000 like per hour, which for free mode money in a way is kind of pretty alright. And then it also has one of the best money-making opportunities in the game with the Dr. Dre, like, VIP contract in the game, because if you complete the whole entire thing, which typically takes like a couple hours, you're basically getting like $1 million, which for 2 hours isn't really necessarily too bad for $1 million. But obviously Caprico is much better regardless, but it's still one of the better money-making opportunities in the game, definitely one of the couple best ones, I would say, for solo players. So definitely, agency is very worth it, even for a 25% off discount, especially when new content. I'll say this discount's not going to be that good. And then there sounds like there's some hanger stuff as well. But yeah. Okay, it seems everything with the hanger is 40% off. 40% is the typical like property discount they tend to do. It's not one of the like higher ones that they do on like a rare occasion, like 60% and whatnot on like certain properties and whatnot. But 40% for the hanger is definitely pretty worth it. Hanger is very worth owning if you're not going to do the business, which I don't blame people for not doing the business. Like I mentioned, it's kind of trash. But yeah, the hanger in terms of location is actually one of the more important businesses, I would say, or like properties in terms of like choosing a good location. Obviously, LSIA of the like pro would being able to like spawn aircraft like right on the like airport runways and stuff, which I don't think you can do if you have a Fort Zancudo hangar. It's either like one or the other. Though honestly, at the same time, if you have the Fort Zancudo one, you can spawn like aircrafts right on there and whatnot. Like, I mean, more like your personal aircrafts, I think I'm referring to. And I think I've been to LSIA, for example, and since that Fort Zancudo, I can spawn aircraft on like the runway of the LSIA because I don't have a hangar there, so that's the pro of the LSIA hangar. But honestly, though, I feel the like advantages of this location kind of already in there, just being able to basically have spawn convenience at the like actual airport, being able to spawn things easier there. And the Fort Zancudo locations, which in my opinion are definitely the obvious, more worthwhile ones, you obviously can spawn like aircrafts and stuff and runways and stuff here as well. But you also get low level like clearage and whatnot, because normally in the game, obviously, if you don't have a hangar, you cannot go in Fort Zancudo. Otherwise, you get like a 2 or like 4-star 1 level, like 5-star or whatever. You don't really have any of that, obviously, if you get a hangar in the Fort Zancudo area, unless you cause like problems there. Plus, you get some nice convenience when it comes to like the laser jet, which is nice. But yeah, if you steal a laser, I think you get 2 stars instead of like the 4 stars, and you don't really tend to get like shot down all that easily. Whereas I think if you don't like have a hangar, I think you can get shot down pretty easily in some cases. So you get some nice convenience. You get some nice convenience with the lasers that spawn here, but then again, it is a Pegasus vehicle now, so if you have a Pegasus and stuff, it doesn't necessarily matter all that much. Though I would say the spawns for the laser in the Fort Zancudo area are more useful than the actual Pegasus vehicle. Unless, of course, you have it as a personal aircraft, then you can have quite a good spawn convenience for, like, the laser, for example. And I think that's pretty much all the, like, main advantages between, like, the locations. Again, it's one of the more location, like, heavy kind of, like, properties in terms of, like, the advantages and whatnot. And a hangar, obviously, you need not to be able to store certain aircrafts. Pretty much all, or, like, most of the, like, last bunch of, like, aircrafts in, like, the last couple of few years all required a hangar, basically, for storing them, because they're not tied to Pegasus whatsoever. So for a lot of the newer aircrafts in the last couple of few years, you definitely need the hangar to even own them whatsoever. But yeah, obviously style, lighting, or graphic, or office furniture. These all don't really do anything, they're just like cosmetic stuff. Living quarters obviously lets you spawn in there, which is nice. And obviously you get the two styles, which don't really matter. Living quarters is definitely one you want, because it's actually a very good location to spawn in, obviously, because you get to have instant access to all your personal aircraft. It's definitely one of the top couple best spawn locations, I would say, in the entire game, so definitely get that living quarters. Not that you really need it anymore for the living quarters here if you're fine at like the Kasako with like the Sparrow, for example, but it's a good secondary option if you want like access to certain other aircrafts right when you first spawn into a lobby. And obviously the hangar workshop lets you modify vehicles. And obviously the newer aircrafts that can only be put in the hangar that aren't tied to Pegasus, those have like the best customizations, whereas like all the like day one aircrafts and stuff only have like respray minus the Cuban 800, which also has like bombs aside for respray, I think. So you definitely get some nice advantages with the hangar, even though the business is pretty much worse in the entire game between the different businesses. Yeah, I think this middle one here is the most expensive, for example, 40% off makes it $1,950,000. So they're saving like 1.3 million on the actual property, which is awesome. Yeah, that's probably the most expensive one there, so that's why I saved there. That one's 8,000 looks like, so that's the most expensive there. 120,000 most expensive there. That's gotta be most expensive there. That's what that all costs there. And Hangar Workshop is, instead of like almost 1.2 million, it's almost 700,000. Very good discount there. But yeah, that's the full price of the hangar with all the renovations and stuff, 40% off right now. Which is not much more than what the actual like property costs normally. And yeah, you're going to be getting pretty much everything with it. Yeah, the advantages are obviously very clearly good with the hangar. I don't think I need to specify any more on those. But yeah, that should be all the property discounts. And then a lot of the vehicle discounts this time are obviously going to be for aircraft, given the theme of the event week. And yeah, I think there's only 4 land vehicle discounts, 3 of them being on the test track, and then 1 being not on the test track. So I gotta see what vehicle sites to go on. Definitely not Benny's, I'm pretty certain this time. Yeah, no. No Benny isn't, and also no Arena as well. First one should be elitist with discounts time. But yeah, at least 4 discounts for elitist right now here. But yeah, I'll start in order here, obviously. And there is 40% off of the Sea Sparrow, which is basically the Sparrow from like the Caprico Ice. It obviously has like the pontoons, which allows it to be on water and whatnot. And obviously, like the speed and stuff is nowhere near as good because it has those like heavy pontoons and whatnot, or whatever terminology. But yeah, this one actually has more upgrades than the like regular Sparrow, so you can kind of do a little bit more with the Sea Sparrow than you can with the Sparrow, but not necessarily all that much. And yeah, obviously the weaponry is all the same. You basically got that. You basically have the option of that machine gun, which I'm pretty sure practically no one uses, and also people don't like missiles for some reason. And obviously there's the infinite amount of like missiles with like no cooldown and stuff like that. So you can spam the missiles, but obviously there's standard tracking because it's an aircraft. And any other tracking on the actual like full-on aircraft would probably be overpowered. Hey, it's 1,815,000 normally. I don't think there's a trade price on that one whatsoever, so that's the price everybody should have. But right now it's 1,089,000. Getting almost 800,000 in discounts. They're a little over 700,000. It looks like. But yeah. But yeah, I actually have a whole entire review and guide on this Sea Sparrow as well as the regular Sparrows. I'm not necessarily going to mention much more. But yeah, obviously this is a personal aircraft, whereas the like Sparrow is tied to the Kasaka exclusively, basically, in a sense. So they have different spawn convenience. Sparrow has like that 2-minute cooldown compared to like 5-minute cooldown on the Sea Sparrow being personal aircraft. And what else? The Sea Sparrow can actually take an extra explosive sniper round, if I remember correctly, because it has the armor upgrade, which the Sparrow does not. And yeah, it's not going to be as grinding friendly, I would say, as the regular Sparrow Aussie, because that's basically the best vehicle to use for Caprico Heist. But yeah, in my opinion, the Sea Sparrow is actually the best amphibious vehicle if you need a vehicle that can like land in water and whatnot. So it's actually the best amphibious. It's the best amphibious vehicle in my opinion in the game when it comes to like overall like usefulness and whatnot. But yeah, do be worried about landing. I think hard landings aren't good for the Sea Sparrow because it can flip into the water and whatnot, I think. And then the Sea Breeze here. Sea Breeze, instead of being 850,000 with a trade price of doing like a certain amount, like sell missions or something for the like hangar, is 595,000. So 255,000 savings is not necessarily all that great. But the Sea Breeze, it might have bombs, I forget. But yeah, a lot of aircrafts have bombs, but Sea Breeze has bombs. For weaponry though, the Sea Breeze only has machine guns, I believe, so you can't get like missiles on it. But yeah, you cannot get missiles on the Sea Breeze. I'm pretty certain of it. It only has like machine guns, like one on each wing. So the machine guns are pretty spread out and stuff, so I feel the weaponry itself is kinda useless. But those amphibious capabilities though, because obviously Sea Breeze obviously suggests it has amphibious capabilities, and it actually does. And the amphibious capabilities in terms of like landing in water is actually the best of any like amphibious vehicle in the game, I believe. When it came to the Sea Sparrow, I said in terms of like overall like But yeah, when it comes to the Sea Sparrow, I said it's like the best like amphibious vehicle overall when it comes to like a combat situation and whatnot. Sea Breeze, it can land in the water like it's nothing though. You can do like pretty hard landings in the water and it'll actually still be completely fine apparently. So it's very good. And yeah, the Alpha Z1 here. This one actually doesn't have any weaponry, so I'll go over its performance as a way to kind of talk a little about it. But yeah. For the plane class, the Alpha Z1 is actually a number 1 for lap time for going off a Broughy 1322 spreadsheet. And then also, the Alpha Z1 is a 6th place top speed. So it's a top 10 plane basically for. It's within the top 10 for top speed, and then it's literally the number 1 option for lap time for the plane class. So it's basically like it's basically the best it's basically the best plane in the game when it comes to turning when it's fully modified with like engine upgrades and stuff like that. So that's definitely a pretty unique use for it. But again, it has no like weaponry, so you're only getting it for like modifications, like customizations and stuff, which for an aircraft is pretty good, considering it's one of the like newer aircrafts that actually has proper customizations. That's kind of the only reason, in my opinion, to own it, in my opinion. And considering you only have 20 hangar slots, it might be one of the ones that's least worth owning. And then the Nagasaki Ultralight here, 500,000, it's 300,000 instead, 200,000 off, must be 40% off. Whereas these two might be more like 30%. I might have to check on this discounts here. Want to see what the numbers are. Alright, Alpha Z1 40, Sea Sparrow 40, Sea Breeze is 30, and yeah, Ultralight is 40. But again, in the case of the Sea Sparrow, I do have a whole entire reviewing guide on the ultralights. If you want a lot of details on that, I have a reviewing guide, or obviously other people do. But yeah. In terms of weaponry, the ultralight has a gimbal turret, which is a pretty unique weapon actually. It's like a very rotatable, like machine gun and whatnot. So the angles and stuff you can get with the machine gun, like the gimbal turret on it, is pretty awesome. It's not really much of something you see on like any other like aircraft, especially. Like, it kind of reminds me of the weaponized Tampa's like gun, but in the air. It's pretty cool. And plus, you can use that as a driver as well. Again, like with weaponized Tampa, so it kind of reminds me of that gun from the weaponized Tampa, but for aircraft, in a way. But yeah. In my opinion, it's not really that useful of a grinding vehicle, same with the Alpha C1, because it doesn't have weapons, and then the Sea Breeze, because its machine guns aren't really that great. I don't feel it's a really good grinding aircraft. The only really good grinding vehicle of these four, in my opinion, is the Sea Sparrow. Because obviously it's basically a Sparrow, but it's like slower, it can land in the water, and yeah. It's a personal aircraft and whatnot. But yeah. The ultralight's not really necessarily that good in grinding. I think the best thing I found for it really was like Sightseer. I think Sightseer, like VIP work, in my opinion, was kind of the best thing worth doing for it, to be honest. And certain certain sourcing missions for the like air freight business could be pretty alright with the ultralight, I would say as well. But yeah, definitely not one of the better like aircrafts in the game necessarily. And Dodo is actually not on discount, just glitched up I think. But the Valem 5-seater. Again, Alpha Z1, this one's not like, what's it called? It's not weaponized or anything, so I'll obviously go over performance, even though it's obviously not going to really be that good. But yeah. The Valem 5-seater here. I don't see it particularly in the spreadsheet, so I think it's the same like stats as like the regular Valem, I'm assuming. Which would mean it's a 24th place lap time, which is bad for the plane class, and then top speed is 28th place, so yeah, it's not a really good performance anywhere for the Valem 5-seater, obviously. I think there's a couple Warstock discounts, and then it's mainly just a Legendary Motorsport, I think, left for the most part. So that's for vehicles already covered. Okay, this is before Warstock, so I'll show these, but yeah. Cinque Mille is on a 30% discount. But yeah. Cinque Mille I talked about earlier in the stream, that's 30% off. Instead of 1.7, it's like 1.2, 500,000 off essentially. Like I said, it's number 1, number 2 lap time top speed in the sedan class, a very good pickup. For performance in the sedan class. And yeah. Division, like I said, I think that was 16th place lap time, and then 19th place top speed for the supercar class. Which both of those are above average for the supercar class, but they're not within like top 10, top 5, top 3, top 1 like territory, so in my opinion it's not really all that worth getting. And then the one like land vehicle discount that wasn't part of the like the test track vehicles is actually the classic discount. Test track, that's a land vehicle on discount. Let's say 865,000 and 605,500. So like 250,000 around there for discount. Not necessarily that bad. And that's also 30% off if I didn't say that, not 40 or something. And yeah, should be a sport classic vehicle, and because it's like one of like kind of like old school like style supercars in the game, essentially, I feel it's one of the better like sport classic vehicles in the game. I would assume so. Yeah. Going off of Bruffy 1322's spreadsheet, the lap time is actually second place for the sport classic class. And for example, compared to the Rapid GT Classic, the like prize ride, that's one placement above there. And then the Cheetah Classic is a 6th place top speed, so within like top 10 territory. So it is a better sport classic than that Rapid GT Classic, for example, that you can get through the prize ride right now for that pretty easy challenge. But honestly, if you want that, definitely go for it. It's still pretty good, like I mentioned. 3rd place, and I think 9th place was the Rapid GT Classic lap time top speed, for example, again. But yeah, this is definitely pretty good for a Sport Classic vehicle, so can't go wrong with it. And plus, it's probably like the Vice City Cheetah, basically, but for Grand Theft Auto Online, which is pretty cool. Definitely a very nostalgic vehicle, so that's certain something too. And yeah, Chameleon's on discount, just switched up at the moment. And yeah, I think there's like 3 more to talk about. One that was already pretty much talked about like rehash it, basically. Okay, yeah, those are the discounts. Yeah, I think this one's 30% here, and then the Hydra's actually like a pretty bad percent off in a sense compared to usual. But yeah, the Mammoth Tula here is 30% off. Instead of being like 3.8 million on a trade price, which requires doing a certain amount of like sell missions for the Smuggler run, like hangar, like business in the game. It's $2,723,000 on a trade price again. And again, I probably went for other vehicles I forgot to specify with as well, but as long as it's from Smuggler's Run, like trade price requirements basically the same, just do a certain amount of like sell missions or something. So you can obviously do like a bunch of like 1 cargo sell missions, for example. But yeah. Over $1 million off even on 30% is pretty nice. But yeah. It has machine guns on the front, like driver controlled machine guns on the front, it looks like. Which, it is centered on the nose and stuff, so it can be some of the better like machine guns when it comes to like an aircraft, at least, I would say, for a driver controlled machine gun at least. And then it does have this one on the back as well that can be modified, I think, to be able to have like 2 guns instead of like 1 gun or something, if I recall, in the hangar. Obviously, that one requires another player. And yeah, it's a 5-seater vehicle, which is pretty insane, and it's also amphibious, like the Sea Breeze. It's not as good of a like amphibious vehicle in my opinion, though, kind of. Because you can actually do pretty good landings in the Tula. Like I said, with the Sea Breeze, that one can actually do some pretty insane landings in water. It can actually still survive. The Tula, on the other hand, is actually pretty sensitive when it comes to landing in the water, and you can actually get it like damaged pretty heavily depending on if you like use it well in the water or not, essentially. So in that case, it's a kind of bad so in that way, it's kind of a bad vehicle when it comes to the. So in that way, it's kind of a bad vehicle when it comes to the amphibious vehicles in the game. However, though, the good thing it has for an amphibious vehicle is it's the only plane I think that's amphibious that has VTOL capabilities. Yes, it has VTOL capabilities where it can like fly like a helicopter. So that can also be kind of nice for an amphibious vehicle. So it does kind of has its own like niche, pretty good like niche purpose in terms of an amphibious vehicle. But it's not anywhere near as good as the Sea Sparrow when it comes to an amphibious vehicle in terms of like combat capabilities and like all around and whatnot. At least in my opinion. But yeah, 5-seat capacity also as well. That's one of the more unique things of the Tula as well. And the last discount on this website is the Hydra here. And yeah, this is on a trade price, and you notice the discount's actually not that great. It's only like $450,000. Which, it is the fighter jet that has like a literal explosive cannon on it. It's one of the like vehicles in the game with like the most overpowered weapon in the game. they've definitely done like 40% and whatnot with the Hydra before, so why 15%? But yeah. It is a measly 15% off discount, so honestly, I kinda don't recommend it because of the, like, bare minimal discount. Obviously, it's better than nothing, but if you really don't want to spend that much money on it, then obviously wait for a better discount, perhaps. But yeah. For weaponry, obviously it has missiles, but they are not like infinite missiles of no cooldown. You have a like set amount of time of like 2 seconds before you can fire like a third missile if you were to fire like 2 right away. So there is a missile cooldown on the vehicle, and like more of the like more recent like vehicles in the game for aircraft. So the missiles are okay, not necessarily that great. And honestly, it has a like explosive cannon, which is basically the most overpowered weapon in the game. And that's on a VTOL fighter jet, which means it can go in like helicopter and like airplane modes. So depending on how good you use those different modes, you can get some very good versatility out of the explosive cannon on it. So it's probably like the best vehicle when it comes to like the explosive cannon, like the overpowered explosive cannon. I feel it's like the best one that has like the overpowered like explosive cannon for the Hydra. And yeah, I think the only other vehicles that have that is the Savage, and then obviously the Laser from day one in the game. So this one's definitely still a pretty good combat vehicle, so it can definitely be good for money making and whatnot, so that's something nice. Whereas the Tula, for example, I don't really recommend that for money making. It's probably not going to be that good since it mainly only has like machine guns and maybe like bombs at best. And I think the last discount is the Weevil, I believe. And again, I already mentioned the Weevil, it's like 6th place and like 8th place or something like that, whatever I mentioned like earlier on for lifetime top speed and going off a roughly 152 spreadsheet. But however, though, like I mentioned, I think you can get a free one for like the DJ request missions for like English Day for like kind music or something like that. I think if you do all those, you get a free BF Weevil, so it's not really worth buying the vehicle even. That's kind of all that's worth mentioning off that one. But yeah, discounts were 40% off. Well, actually, I'm not going to list all the discounts again and just by word or whatever. Just want to make sure I covered all of them. I should have. Alright, yes, all the discounts. And obviously, Prime Gaming is just the same thing, being the 40% off. I mean, not 40% off, but the $100,000 for Prime Gaming, that's basically it that they've been doing for a while. Okay. But yeah, anyways, I think that is finally gonna be it for the stream. Next stream I'll be doing a Grand Theft Auto San Andreas Definitive Edition walkthrough. Which, by the way, actually, the Definitive Edition games that quote unquote are actually getting another update for next week, apparently, going off of Rockstar on their Twitter. So apparently the Trilogy Definitive Edition will be getting another update next week. Hopefully it fixes a lot of issues that have yet to be fixed and whatnot. So that's something interesting. I'll probably be able to experience that, of course, later on in my San Andreas walkthrough. Had I not been sick from COVID during Vice City, I would have probably been all done with the games to where it wouldn't have really mattered for me. But I feel the update's quite too late at this point, honestly. But still, maybe it can like bring new life to the game or something similar to like what I heard with like Cyberpunk and whatnot. Maybe that something like that could happen. Yeah, obviously that'll be happening next. And yeah, when it comes to expand enhanced, come on Rockstar, please add a benefit section or something like that to GT Online. That way I can show off the discounts easier and whatnot. Maybe then I won't even be doing this like event week stream series because they'll then have a reliable way of seeing the like discounts and stuff on both of their games and not just Red Dead. Like you have like a Rockstar News Wire thing on their info section, but they don't even like use it and whatnot. Like kind of do that for like expand enhance, like something like that, or like the benefit section or something, basically. But yeah, like I said, next stream is the Andreas Definitive Edition. Updates actually coming out to the trilogy actually next week, apparently. I think that's all basically I can think of mentioning for like the end here. That's finally gonna be it for sure. I hope you enjoy.